This video is proudly sponsored by DigimonCard.io for all your Digimon card, deck building, deck list, card pricing, and discussion needs.
Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we have my Bond BlackWarGreymon deck profile. This is one of my favorite decks right now. I almost made a version of this for the BT8 meta, and I almost ran it for the Top Cut event that I went into earlier this month, though I did end up going to DNA Armor instead, which was the right choice, I guess, because I did get top 16 with it. But this was my runner-up list, and I'm really enjoying it. I think not necessarily there wasn't anything from the newest set to help it out, but it is super good in the fact that it has a really good matchup in the Mother D Reaper. So kind of a weird thing where the deck just gets inherently better just because there's a good matchup that's going to be pretty prevalent moving forward. So that's kind of the idea for this deck. If you guys enjoy it, please let me know. Also, we will be live streaming today and tomorrow as of this video coming out. So it is Thursday, June 30th and Friday, June 1st, or July 1st. I'm going to be doing some playtesting sessions with this deck and other EX2 stuff. So I think that's really, really good. So, and this is probably the deck I would be running if I was doing the tournament this weekend too. So anyways, the main kind of combos, we've got this big bad boy Mother D Reaper, and this is why the deck is, I think, more viable than it was. We have this Metal Greymon, which has an inheritable that lets your BlackWarGreymon swing into anything. So even though this is a big 15k, it's not too difficult to make this a 15 or even 16k swing. You swing into the Mother D Reaper, they lose all the sources underneath it, and then they have to start all over. And even if they bring the Mother D Reaper up again, you can just swing into it again next turn. So unless they get rid of it, which they don't have a lot of ways to get rid of a big bad boy, this is a really, really good kind of strategy for that deck specifically. And then I think there's ways for this deck to do well against the rest of the meta. So that is kind of the idea for the deck. We're going to go over it now. But just the fact that I think it has a really easy way to coincidentally get rid of Mother the Reaper, I think is good enough to talk about. So starting with our Digi-eggs, we do have 4 Koromons and 1 Gurimon. These are just for card draw, and I think that's kind of something that Red needs a lot nowadays. So that's really helpful. You do have to have a Greymon or just Greymon or Omnimon in the name for the Koromon draw, and Gurimon you just need to have a 6k or higher. So pretty much all of your level 4s are going to be getting this draw when swinging with it. There's also, if you want more of the power burst, there are some red Digi-eggs that give you like a plus 1k when attacking. So if you care more about having that extra boost of power instead of card draw, I think that's totally fine. I just feel like the card draw is more important for the list, and that's what we got for this guy. Going into the rookies, I hope you guys like Agumon, because that's pretty much all we got. So the first Agumon is I don't know if he's expensive anymore, but he's been expensive before. It is the promo Agumon. Just has an inheritable that if you have a Greymon Digimon in its above it, it gets plus 2k. So that's just a passive 2k on pretty much most of the cards that Digivolve on top of it is really nice. And then we also do have 3 of the Star Deck 1 Agumon base art. I know, where's my promo ones? But it just gives a passive plus 1k during your turn to all your Digimon, or to the Digimon it's under. So that kind of helps you get the power buff up to get that combo you were talking about earlier. The other Agumons we do have 4 of the BT5 Agu, who lets you look top 3 and lets you look for a Greymon or Omnimon. We only have Greymons, we have no Omnis in this list, so do note that, but he is kind of good there. And then we also do have the new BT8. We have 3 of this Agu, so it is a black Digimon, but it does Digivolve on top of a red egg, which is good. It also has an on-play, reveal the top 4, and add 1 Greymon and 1 card with Dragonkin in its name. So only in this deck the level 6s are Dragonkin. So, but if you can get if this guy can just see both of these on the top of our deck, and he can get both of them, so kind of nice. It does kind of stink that it's black sometimes it's really great. And it's good, especially when we're talking about Chimeramon, which is also in this list, to help get a black source to help us out there. So those are our rookies. I think we're running 14. We're doing a 3-3-4-4 split with the power boost and the searchers. So I think that is the right way. Maybe go to 15 if you want, but not with this build. So next up, we do have the BT5 Greymons. We are running 4 strictly because it has your turn when this Digimon has Omnimon or Greymon in its name. It gets the plus 2k boost, so easily with either the starter deck or with the promo Agu, This adds plus 4k, which means it's a 16k BlackWarGreymon over here if both of them are underneath it, which means you can inherently swing over Mother D Reaper and live. And even worst case, just the starter deck and this guy lets it become a 15k, and that does help too. So I think that's worth it for it, and he does get the memory reduction when you are digivolving on top of an Agumon, which is literally all you're doing with this list. So I think that makes sense. He's just like a good value. He doesn't put like a lot of pressure on the board, but he has that good value stuff going there. So 4 of this guy. We also have 4 of the new BlackGreymon. So again, he can digivolve on top of a red or black level 3, and then has he's a 6k, which is pretty big for a level 4, honestly. And with the Agumon underneath it, just the generic one, you can become an 8k pretty quickly. And if you have like the Greymon Digi-egg, this always gets the draw too. So he's really good. And then also he has opponent's turn. We have a red Digimon in play, which can include himself. Like if you have him underneath your BlackWarGreymon, sorry, this guy has blocker now too, which is quite nice. And it's all turns. Like if this deletes a Digimon, you get to restand it, so you can block. If it pops the blocker, you get to restand it, and that's kind of obnoxious. But having blocker in this list and it's already doing the things you want is kind of nice. So I think he's a good add for this. I do like him at 4. And then the other level 4s, we have 2 GeoGreymons just to sometimes get something out of our security. This can also pop some obnoxious stuff. You just delete something with 4k DP or less, which can hit a lot of things nicely. And then we also have 2 of the security attack +1 Greymons. We're more of like a mid-range kind of control-y almost list, not as much of aggression. But if we use Chimeramon, we can put this underneath it from the trash pretty easily. And I think that can help us win the game at the end. But I think he's more like a late game target than a kind of early game kind of thing you want to see. So that's why we only have 2. And then we do have 4 of the Metal Greymon. He's fantastic in so many ways. He's really worth the 4 devolution cost for him. But when digivolving, you get to de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. And then if it has no devolution cards, it becomes a level 3, or becomes a level 3. You can trash any more cards. So, and then you get to delete one of your opponent's level 3, or sorry, a 3k DP or less. So it pops a lot of things on a lot of boards. Not as much, I think, in this meta as previously, but like it does things, which is nice. And being able to get the inheritable too, I think, is a good card for him. And he's red and black, which is kind of important. And then we also have 3 Chimeramons. Even digivolving him for 4 is good, and you can get any level 5 underneath to him. So even if you just have like this line and you don't have the Metal Gray in hand to go into, you can get a previous Metal Greymon underneath him, and then you get the inheritable when you go into your big boys. There's also obviously DNA digivolving into him means that you can get quite large into like 6k or plus 6k plus 8k. You can make like your BlackWarGreymon like pretty big. So that is something to consider there. But 4 and 3 there, I think they're pretty searchable. Chimeramon unfortunately does not let you just inherently search it out most ways, because it's not Dragonkin, it's not a Greymon, and it is not a red Digimon, as you'll see in a second. But we are running 3 of the BlackWarGreymon. He is very searchable, so I think 3 is the right number for him. All of our Agumons let us look for him, and everything else, I think he's a good at 3. We are also running 2 of the WarGreymon from the EX1 set. So just has when digivolving Blitz, which is fantastic for getting out that, like, just outing the Mother D Reaper probably a turn faster than they thought that you could. So obviously this is a 12k, it's Blitz. If you have the Metal Greymon underneath it, you can attack anything. So it's very good for doing that kind of strategy, being able to swing in immediately. And then also when attacking with this Digimon attacks a player, if you have a Tamer play, you can delete one of your opponent's with blocker. Unfortunately, it's not just when you swing wherever, which kind of stinks, but if you want to swing for game and they have blockers, this can get rid of them too. But I really like this guy. He's put in a lot of work, being able to blitz on top of your Metal Greymon and swing into something that your opponent probably thought was safe for one more turn. Gets you a lot of value, and can sometimes just win you the game out front. So I like that guy, and he's been really good. And then the kind of more cheese and more honestly, I really like this. It's the bond stuff. So surprise, we're running 2 of the Agumon Bond of Bravery, which means that we just get to digivolve onto any of these Agumons. Does it care about color? I think it does. So you can't play on top of the black Agumon, right? Digivolve and ignoring its level. Yeah, so it has to be the red one, so you can't do it on top of the Black Agumon. But still, you can Digivolve into this for 3. But the big thing about this as well is that this is fantastic for just getting more memory and card draw. All of your Digimon are going to be either a Greymon or an Agumon. So you can, as long as you have this out, you're going to get like an extra memory and draw every other turn, which is great. And this can just Digivolve straight up on top of your WarGreymon or your BlackWarGreymon, and you get a lot of value from this too. Just it's a 14k that swings. It does a, you know, procs the security if you delete something during your turn, and it does some really good things. Unfortunately, it is what, unknown, so you can't use Metal Greymon to swing with it. And also, you don't get the plus boost from underneath it as well, because it is not an it's an Agumon. It's not a Greymon type. So do be careful with that. But honestly, even just having Tide going into it later in the game, just having something for some like offensive pressure, I think is good. 2 Nokia, because they're good. They help memory reduction. Sometimes they let you play an Agumon quicker, which is good, especially in security, which means you can do your Chimeramon, DNA Digivolution stuff easier. Hero, we have 2 of them. I like him better than Tai, just because it does get the plus 2k boost to all of your Digimon that are level 5 or higher, which means that you can help get your big boy BlackWarGreymon into the 15k, 16k range, so you can swing and then pop your opponent's D-Reaper. We do have 1 Delicate Plan because it's a good card, and then 2 red memory boosts from there, just because this helps us find cards into our deck, as well as the memory, I think, from this. I think every red deck should always be playing at least 1 or 2 copies of red memory boost, because the memory is so important to extending your plays. And there are just so many expensive red plays that you want to make and keep at your turn that it's difficult to do that without the red memory boost at times. But that is the list. I think it is a good meta call for right now. Again, this is probably the list I would be running at the regional this weekend. And I've been having a lot of fun with it lately. And again, it's just an auto win against most versions of Mother the Reaper, and that feels really, really good in a lot of ways. But that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think of the deck, what changes you would make, and I'll catch you all next time.
Damn it.